Really great to see all you guys here. Today is a very special day in the Alumni Center events. You guys know that we've been talking about the VOX series for some time. This is the Voice of Excellence series where we get people who have made a difference, people who are making a difference, people who have excelled in their field to come and share their thoughts with us. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'll still say it. It is our own version of TED Talks where we will get speakers of eminence to come and share thoughts, their ideas with us. So it really gives us great pleasure to kick this series off, the first of hopefully many of them going forward with Rahul and Team Indus. This is a phenomenal initiative where one of the 5 chosen companies in the world racing to put the first spacecraft on the moon. Rahul will talk more about it in terms of the engineering effort behind it, the challenges in doing that, the prizes they have won, the awards they have won, and going forward, some of the unique aspects of where some other countries have participated with Team Indus. So, Rahul, welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And I take this opportunity to invite Venkatachalam and Dhananjay also to be with us today. And really thank you for bringing a model, a replica of what will go on the moon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you setting me up so high that I'm not sure I'll be able to live up to the expectations, but let me give it a try. So thank you. This is about a journey that started a little over more than 6 years ago, and it's still work in progress. My short description is I describe myself as a yet-to-be successful entrepreneur. So I'm not necessarily qualified to come here and talk to you about how to be successful. This is just a story, and it's very light-hearted. We've thrown in a little bit of engineering here because we talk in the IIT, and why not talk engineering? So the next 15, 20 minutes, I'll try and keep it interactive, if that's okay with all of you. So this is about what you see on the screen is, 2 of our engineers who are building a spacecraft. On one side, you see our rover. On the other side, you see our Japanese competitor's rover called Hakuto. So this is the story, and the genesis of trying to do something like this has to go much, much deeper. So I know we have some very young people here and some very senior people here. How any of you who was growing up in India in 80s and 90s? So any idea where you would have seen this on TV? Doordarshan 1. It was always on Sundays and it was 9 a.m. That was the only channel available at that time. But extremely inspiring to see Star Trek there. Interestingly, Carl Sagan came to our screens much, much faster than anything else. And this was him demystifying science, demystifying especially space for the rest of the world. And for me, growing up, this was one big inspiration. And when you listen to such people, when you are made aware of the beauty of the cosmos, of the universe, growing up, it has a lasting impact. So a little bit of the genesis of what I do today has to go as credit to some of these people. I'm sure everybody recognizes the person on the screen. So this is closer to time, and I'm sure our students right now in IIT would definitely recognize him. And I'd be surprised if you don't look up to him, because he's been one inspirational figure who has gone on and disrupted industry after industry after industry. Absolutely. So not to offend anybody here, but he's one person who made money and then refused to become a VC. He went back to being an entrepreneur again, then made money, went back to being an entrepreneur again. Probably the only person ever in history who's created 3 companies and is on the way to make the 4th company, each one of them $1 billion in value. It's very interesting, the things that are happening around us and opportunity to learn from them. Closer to home, this is quiz time. Any ideas what you're looking at on the screen? No. This is actually Mangalyaan. So not that you can make out the difference. They both look like a satellite. They were both 1,400 kgs. But yes, this is our very own IITAC. This is on the old airport road in Bangalore. And that's Mangalyaan being assembled before it was sent on its way. So just giving you a little bit of a background of what was going through my mind and all the folks who actually jumped into this to create this company. Just a little bit of background on that inspiration. Google is the sponsor, XPRIZE is the organizer, and it has a 2-line problem statement. Line number 1 states, before 31st March 2018, land on the moon, move 500 meters, send back evidence that you've done so. Evidence comprises of imagery data, video data, telemetry data, so on and so forth. Line number 2 states you have to do it while you're 90% privately funded. That makes the problem, a little bit more complicated than what the engineering problem originally was. Had it not been for the second clause, we could have, joined forces, gone to DST and said, give us a 500 crore check, and if it doesn't work, we'll give you a report which says why it didn't work. I'm sorry, I know I haven't said IIT, but that was genesis, and that's why Google backed it, to say that, if you have to create disruption, you have to look at ways and means and create mechanisms whereby people do really think out of the box. That's how big space, big government, big defense companies have worked till date, which is they have a concept, they go to the government, it works good, if it doesn't work, so be it, you send in a report why it didn't work. So this is about really trying to put the ringer on anybody who picked up this challenge. A little bit more about this competition itself. This was announced in 2007. That's when the competition was announced. The registration closed in 2010. We were the last team to register. We were the last team, as in we were the 30th team to register in the competition. At that time, there were 50% American teams, 1/3 European teams, and one-off teams from China, India, Japan, Brazil, Chile, so on and so forth. Today, it's down to 5 teams. They're just left with 5 teams. We do not, for reasons I cannot state, give too much credence to the 2 American teams left in the competition. We are very mindful that the Israeli team left in the competition is a huge threat, and the Japanese are flying on board our spacecraft, so they obviously can't land before us. So this is a 2-horse race. It's just about 6 months out, and we need to pool our resources, put everything together in order to be the first horse out of the 2-horse race. So that's what this competition is about. Many times I've been asked, why take up something like this, or what was your background, and are you a scientist, are you an aerospace engineer, blah 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 blah. My answer is actually none of that. And if I were a scientist, if I were an aerospace engineer, there is no question that I'd pick this assignment up. I mean, let's be very, very clear about that. And my background is software, products and services. Quite like a lot of software folks here, I see Anant there. We always believe that, if you're given a problem statement, you roll up your sleeves on Friday, by Monday evening, you'll have the answer. Whether it is the customer pushing you, it's your boss pushing you. Over our extended weekend, we can solve any problem. So when I started this off, I thought, this is going to take a couple of years. It's going to take a little bit of money. We'll figure it out as we go along, find money for technology, so on and so forth. But, that wasn't to be. It's more than 6 years today, and we're still 6 months out. What was interesting is when you try and enter a new industry, and you've thrown with these keywords which says disruption and fail fast and fail quick. I mean, you hear this a lot when you come up when we talk about startups. But I think a lot of that is jingoism. A lot of that is just unnecessary chest beating. change or disruptive change is not necessarily about throwing out what exists. So what we have done is, you have to solve the same problems. It's just that you have to find a new way of solving it. And that's been our mantra from day one. When I'm asked the question, why do such a thing like this, I usually end up by asking a question back, which is, when Elon Musk said, I want to build a rocket and build a rocket using my money, nobody asked him that question. So why is it that we ask ourselves the question, but we don't ask folks in America the question, or folks in Europe the question, or Japan the question? So for some reason, this is the whole mindset about, the whole, which has, come down a little bit, the whole mindset about you need to be an engineer, doctor, lawyer, and you need to find a job, and you need to keep doing that. So somewhere when we started, we said, this is about being the change. This is not about following, this is about leading. And to lead, there will be risk. There will be mortal danger, as in if we fail at any point in time, we're not even worth the paper on which our documents are printed. So it is about taking the ultimate risk. It is about standing up and saying, we're going to be the change, and we're going to be the change out of India. Just to reiterate, Team Indus is building a privately funded spacecraft, intends to launch it for the moon in the first week of March 2018, landed before the end of the month. This is an engineering feat that has been accomplished by only 3 superpowers before: Russia, America in the 60s, 70s, China as of December 2013, and we hope to put the Indian flag on the surface of the moon early next year. So that's the complexity that our team has undertaken right now. Engineering, I promised engineering, so we're going to move to engineering for a little bit. So what you see on your left is the rover that we're building. That's a replica. It's a true size replica. The material is sexier looking. The real material is all aluminum. So it's not as cool looking in real life, but this is a version of the rover that we are flying. She's about 6 kgs in mass. 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet is the dimension. Half a dozen cameras on board, 30 watts of solar power. Looks small, but could go over an obstacle of 15 centimeters. I know all of us complain about our roads, but try taking your car over a 15 centimeter obstacle. It will not be able to do that. So for us to design this rover, we had to go back to first principles. We had to go back to the bulldozing effect of small wheels and the traction and the size of the grousers and all of that. So that's kind of what it has taken to do something as simple as a small electric car. So even that needed a lot of